The official start of winter is still more than a month away, but don't tell that to Mother Nature. Snow and freezing temperatures visited several parts of the U.S. last week. Let's check it out. Across a large swath of the U.S., the deep freeze hit last week. Morning low temperatures dipped into the double digits below average.
A little surprised coming this early. Still October. Not used to that in these days, you know.
Cleveland area residents got hit with an early Halloween trick, up to 5 inches of snow in some places, downing power lines and neighborhood trees.
We've all been kind of bored and pacing around because we're used to having our electronics on, and then, you know.
You got to talk.
I know. We were forced to all sit in the same room, and it was driving us crazy.
The winter-like conditions stretched from parts of the Midwest into the Mid-Atlantic and Deep South. And that's not all. At least a dozen states reported frost advisories or freeze warnings during the cold snap. The winter-like conditions also caused treacherous driving on the road. In South Bend, Indiana, black ice caused several accidents. Fortunately, no one was severely injured. But in Saugatuck, Michigan, a multi-vehicle accident turned deadly. 2 people were killed, including a Good Samaritan, after a car slid off the side of the interstate. Still, for some, the early sign of winter was a treat, a chance to fine-tune the snowman, or hit the links for just one more round.
Got a vest, and it's actually made here in Milwaukee. And as you can see here, it's electronic, so it has coils running through it.
That's pretty cool. All right, well, Tennessee had 2 days of freeze warnings last week. In just a minute, we'll take a look at when we've had our earliest and latest freezes. Craig.
Well, in just about a month, Barack, the Christmas season's going to be here, and for many of you, the holiday just won't be complete until you get your Christmas tree. Now, the weather plays a big part in how green and tall your tree choices will be. We traveled to the mountains of North Carolina to check out the East Coast's largest Christmas tree producing area.
If you head over the border into North Carolina, you'll find several tree farms in the mountains. They have acre after acre of trees that will end up in homes all across America. Middle Tennessee gets thousands of Christmas trees each year from Pollard's Tree Farm. In just 1 hour, the Pollard father-son team can wrap and have 250 trees down the mountain and on the way to your living room. Last year, Superstorm Sandy dumped more than a foot of snow in some spots. Snow can be a great thing for tree farmers because it provides plenty of moisture, but if it comes too soon, it can make the ground soft, and getting the trees off that mountain next to impossible.
It can be tough. I'm telling you, it shut us down. One year, we shut down on the 6th of December because we couldn't get any more trees out. It was just too bad.
As long as the weather cooperates over the next 4 weeks, the Pollards plan to harvest nearly 30,000 trees that will end up anywhere from Michigan to Louisiana. And once you pick out a tree and take it home, remember these simple tips to keep it looking green throughout the holiday season.
Big windows where the sun can hit them is kind of hard on them. Fireplaces are hard on them. Just try to keep them away from those areas and keep them watered every day.
The Pollards say with a few steps, your tree should last well into January. Grower Bob Scott says the weather hasn't been as kind to Tennessee trees. A series of bad weather started with the 2010 flood, and it wiped out about 75% of his trees. That was followed by a 1-2 knockout punch of a hard freeze and major drought.
With our crops being trees, it takes years to rebuild the inventory. They don't just grow overnight.
The nursery hasn't been able to offer cut-your-own trees for a few years. But by getting back to the basics of tree farming, the Scotts are optimistic about the future.
Trees are here for a really good reason. They've been here thousands of years, and they've been through everything.
By growing tougher native trees, Scott says they expect to offer cut-your-own trees next year. But you can still buy pre-cut trees from them this year.
Now, if you're looking to cut your own Christmas tree this year, there are plenty of farms around Middle Tennessee that do have trees. And for a list, you can go to our website, that's fox17.com, and click on Fox Links.
You know, one of the cool things I like to do is I always like to talk about some of the extremes we do get here in winter, and we have some information for you, kind of show you, for those of you, when we typically get some of our earliest and latest. So check this out.
Okay, so the earliest freeze, October 2nd, Back in 1984. Now, we've hit freezing temperatures again this year already early.
Could you imagine it being that early?
No, but the latest freeze, November 27th.
Talk about a mild year.
Yeah.
That was only a few years ago,
Yeah, it
back
sure
in
was,
09. The earliest snowfall, though, October 30th in 1925 with an inch.
That's hard to believe, isn't it?
I would have loved
Especially
that.
the way things are these days.
Right?
Latest snowfall, an inch and a half on April 25th. That was back in 1910. Can you imagine? You know the flowers were out by then.
Right, and I was going to say the kids were bummed.
Oh,
Big
absolutely,
time.
yeah. Schools not even
no
going
closed days. All right, we'll take a look at this. Back in 96 on March 16th, 8.7 inches of snow fell.
Now, this is a good example of what can happen in the spring here. So winter really can hang on all the way into March.
Yeah, it really can. And the heaviest and latest, inch and a half, back on April 25th, 1910. Well, don't forget, everybody, winter weather can change very quickly across Middle Tennessee, and some of the best ways to keep up on what's going on is just go to fox17.com. We have your daily forecast, plus you can look ahead at what you can expect during the next 7 days. And, of course, there are alerts and school closings and also warnings there you can find out. They will be listed on the Fox 17 weather page.
It's all been updated for you. We have more, and we hope you enjoyed our Fox 17 winter weather special. Join us online.
Have a good night.